Okay, hello viewers, and hello to my Jewish viewers specifically. Chag Purim. Yes, today is Purim, and I really hate to have to do a video on Purim today, but we got more crime news we need to cover, and New York one, I don't know what else is there to say about them, but we gotta talk about an urgent situation that happened in Queens Village last night. A woman was stabbed to death with a machete. A machete in Queens Village last night on Hillside Avenue. And New York One, guess what? Nothing on their homepage about it. You know what they have on the homepage? State Health Commissioner defends Cuomo amid policies on nursing homes. I get that's technically local news, but a woman was stabbed by a machete in Queens Village. That's a big a deal right now. And then look what they got here. De Blasio's Terrence Monahan's going to become a senior advisor. I mean, who cares? Look at this. I don't see anything on the homepage about it. At least they covered the story that Loud Labs broke earlier today. Loud Labs had a breaking story that a man was wanted for throwing a hot liquid at an MTA bus driver. So we'll read the Daily News article later on, but awful things we got to get into. I'm just disgusted that I have to talk about what happened. Yeah, I checked the whole website. So if you check public safety, look what comes up. Nothing about this story. And look at this. ICE arrests Queens man for deportation who doesn't meet Biden's priorities for removal. So this is public safety. This is politics. Politics, not public safety. Seriously, New York One, you really have bad organization. I don't know what's going on here. Really don't. They don't really update anything. That's the problem with Spectrum News. You go to the Queen's Courier website. It's actually on the homepage. You guys scroll down and find it. See? Right here. Moving a little bit to the right so you can see it. Right there. So at least New York One, we know that they're frauds. But the Queen's Courier, kudos. Thank goodness. This is a big story. So let me move my thing a little bit to the left. No, it's going to be a little bit messed up when you see it in YouTube, but we got to talk about this. So a woman was hacked to death with a machete inside her home in Queens Village. And I bet you the 105 precinct was snarled by this. I can't blame them. I mean, this is shocking. Queens Village. Not too far from where the precinct is. All right, so here we go. And by the way, Channel 7, one last thing. Mike Mars did a fantastic job. Channel 7 spent almost 3 minutes covering this tonight. Let me get into this. Alright, detectives are looking to question the son of a 78-year-old Queens Village woman who was found dead inside of her home on Wednesday night from an apparent machete attack. Officers from the 105 precinct made the gruesome discovery while conducting a wellness check at 7:50 p.m. on February 24th at the home of Maria Diaz, 78, inside a second-floor apartment on Hillside Avenue near 219th Street in Queens Village. So, not too far from Springfield Boulevard. Wow. Because, again, I know that area too well. Okay. It says, upon entering the home, law enforcement sources said the officers found Diaz laying unconscious and unresponsive inside a bedroom with a large laceration to her head. Responding EMS units pronounced Diaz dead at the scene. Police recovered from the home the machete. Oh my goodness. Who wrote this? It's a horrible typing error right there. Police recovered from the home the machete that they have believed was used to kill her. So, it's not Bacall. Sources familiar with the investigation said the victim's son had emerged as a person of interest in the case. At this point, the investigation Police do not have a investigation. Police do not have a possible motive at this point in the investigation for Diaz's murder. No arrests have been made. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to give the phone number to the 105 precinct. If anybody has any information on this, you can call the 105 at 718-776-9090. Again, this is in the confines of the 105 precinct. You know, the 105 should really be giving out their phone number. You know, that's the precinct investigating this case. So, again, 105 precinct, 718-776-9090. They're at 92-082 22nd Street in Queens Village. So, that's not too far from Braddock Avenue. And I know where the precinct is because they also serve Long Island Jewish. So, that's why I'm very familiar with them. And they also serve Glen Oaks. All right, anything else, you can also call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-577-TIPS. It's 8477. In Espanol, 888-577-4782, which is pista. You can also submit tips online at Crime Stoppers website, nypdcrimestoppers.com, or on Twitter at nypdtips. All calls and messages are kept confidential. Once again, the 105 Precinct's phone number is 718-776-9090. Or again, if you have any information, you want to go in person, again, the address is 92-082 22nd Street in Queens Village. So, you have a tip, you want to go in person, that's what you can do. Because again, this happened in the confines of the 105. And there's posters all over Hillside Avenue. So, I mean, they got to catch the sun. They got to catch the sun. Because they're saying the son is wanted in this case. So, this is his own mother. I mean, my goodness. So let's see. Right, so the person of interest is the son. Okay. But again, Channel 7 did a good job covering this tonight. I got to give him a lot of credit. So the Daily News, you know, they had it on their website. And we'll mention that on the Daily News. See? Wow, so the Daily News is saying the suspect could possibly be mentally ill. Yeah, I'll zoom out. That way you can see the headline. See? Let me see. This is not going to help. This might help. Yeah, see, look what the Daily News has. Mentally ill. So let's see if the Daily News has any of the details. Let me just see. Alright, so this is above a deli and a beauty salon. Oh, man. So look how specific the Daily News is. Take a look at this. They're saying that the victim's daughter found her mom dead in a bedroom. And the victim had a deep slash wound to the back of her head. So, this is obviously a homicide. I mean, that's no question. You know, that's why I'm titling this video NY1 absent from covering homicide in Queens Village. You know, awful. Very awful. Yeah. And I was just curious to see if that was the bus stop of the Q43 over there, but I guess not. Okay, here's more specific details about the reward. The NYPD is offering an award for $2,500. Okay, so that's what we know at the moment. Right. So, Queens Village, you know, normally people in Queens Village like to keep to themselves. I mean, this is normally a quiet area. You know, Queens Village. I mean, I'm just completely shocked. I really am. But again, New York 1, absent. By the way, I'll mention, New York 1 actually covered this story. Yeah. Oops. Let me refresh this. Yeah, they're showing the subway incident. In fact, Channel 7 did a story about, Channel 7's trying to be more proactive in the crime lately. I don't know what it is, but lately when I've watched Channel 7, you know, they've been more proactive into it. So, Channel 7 should keep up the good work. You know, I really think they're doing a good job covering the crime. Okay, let's see. Let me just see. Yeah, I'm looking for, yeah, see this? Yeah, let's watch New York 1's video for a second. Let's watch. New York 1 actually covered this.
Police are searching for a man who threw hot liquid in the face
27
of a
seconds!
driver in the Bronx. Now, it happened back on February 3rd during the morning hours on the BX6. The man seen in this surveillance video was arguing with the driver, and authorities say he allegedly did not pay the fare. He then threw a hot liquid into the driver's face and got off the bus at 3rd Avenue and East 163rd Street. The bus driver refused medical attention.
Really, New York 1? Really? 27 seconds. 27 seconds. You know, this is what you get with New York 1. You know, ugh. Yeah, so look at this. The Daily News has the same video as well. That. Same video. Same video. Same video. So awful that this had to happen. So again, Loud Labs broke this. Okay, let's move on. We have more stories we have to get into. Okay. Bronx home invaders tortured victim with hot iron to steal cash. Cops are investigating a horrific home invasion in the Bronx, which armed robbers tortured one of the victims with a hot iron. Law enforcement sources said the invaders posed as plumbers as they got inside an apartment in the vicinity of East 227th Street and Barnes Avenue in Edenwood at around 3 p.m. on February 22nd. So this happened on Monday. Once inside the home, police reported the two men confronted the victims. A 28-year-old man and a 35-year-old man displayed a firearm. The crooks proceeded to tie up both victims and demand cash. Law enforcement sources said they began an all-night ordeal for the victims as the home invaders remained at the location through the evening. At one point, detectives reported the home invaders tortured a 28-year-old male victim with a hot clothing iron, burning his back. So, New York 1 didn't cover this either. And again, let's stress this out about New York 1. And I'm sorry about yesterday's video, but let me show you something again about New York 1. Let me show you, okay? Let's go to the Wikipedia. I'll show you this, okay? Let's go over this again. This happened in the Bronx. The Bronx! And New York 1 didn't cover that either. Look. See? All teased. All teased. That's Spectrum. That's Spectrum. It's available in the Bronx and Brooklyn on Channel 8. And New York 1 is supposed to cover all 5 boroughs. My goodness. Happened in the Bronx. Okay. Let's see what else it says. Police said the 28-year-old man managed to free himself at 6:41 a.m. on Tuesday morning, February 23rd, after the suspects fell asleep. The victim then ran out of the home and notified police of the incident. But again, in these type of situations, the best thing you can do, you know, is to figure out where your local precinct is. Because then they can get involved and then they can, you know, do something about it at least. Alright, so, officers from the 47th precinct arrived at the home shortly thereafter. Law enforcement sources said the two crooks were gone, as well as the 35-year-old male victim. Paramedics brought the 28-year-old man to Montefiore Medical Center for treatment of his injuries, including the burns on his back as well as a head wound. During the investigation, police determined that $2,000 in cash and a cell phone had been stolen. On Thursday morning, the NYPD released security image of the home invaders taken from the crime scene. So, really, burning a victim with a hot iron. Look at this. Look how scary this is. And then, this is disturbing. This is in Brooklyn. 2 men die of suspected overdoses in Maria Hernandez Park. Alright, so... happened in Bushwick. See, Bushwick's not really a good area, so this doesn't surprise me. 2 men died of suspected overdoses in Bush's Maria Hernandez Park on Thursday afternoon, February 25th. So Channel 7 didn't cover this, by the way. I'll just mention that. Not one thing on the broadcast tonight at 6 o'clock. Passers-by found the unconscious 26-year-old and 40-year-old men on benches in the green space near Knickerbocker Avenue and Star Street at 1 p.m. See, normally Channel 7 would cover this, but it seems they didn't. There were no signs of injuries, but cops still found several bottles of booze around the men, according to law enforcement sources, who said the suspect men died from an overdose. Police and Parks Department of Forces patrols investigated the scene on the afternoon of February 25th. The authorities had not released the victims' names. The medical examiner for New York City did not immediately provide a cause of death. So, just sad. 2 men just pass out because they're taking drugs. You know, awful. And then here's something else. Look at this. Rush hour collision on the FDR Drive leaves 5 people injured. Where did this happen on the FDR? So this happened in Lower Manhattan by Houston Street. Alright, firefighters and emergency medical services respond to a multi-vehicle crash in the FDR Drive near Houston Street, where 5 individuals were injured at 4:11 p.m. on Thursday, February 25th. So this was posted today, see? February 25th. Multiple fire trucks and ambulances could be observed on the scene of the accident, where the FDNY and EMS officials could be seen tending crash victims beside a white Honda. The side of the vehicle had been torn away, just like the right front tire and the airbag had been deployed. While the cause of the collision is not yet known, 3 individuals were transported to local hospitals, while 2 others were treated for injuries at the scene. Firefighters remained at the scene using flares to inform passing motorists of the obstruction. So I'm not really going to show the vehicles involved, but yeah, that's sad. Multi-vehicle on the FDR during rush hour. You know, this could have at least gotten a 30-second mention. Yeah, that looks like a Honda Accord. I could tell by the front. Has to be at least... When I'm thinking, this is probably at least a late 2000s or an early 2010s Honda. So I recognize the body. And then another incident involving a vehicle. Car fire in Maspeth. 1 person was sent to the hospital. Alright, so this is a brief story, but I'm not gonna... Yeah, it's pretty brief. Person was sent to the hospital after a car burst into flames in Maspeth early Thursday morning. The fire department first got a call about the car fire near 60th Avenue in Mount Olive Crescent around 7:30 a.m. on February 25th. Firefighters arrived and quickly put out the burning car, according to authorities. The driver out of the car was transported to Cornell Hospital. The severity of their injuries is currently unknown, and the cause of the fire is under investigation. And lastly, in order for us to get news on Facebook, we have to go look up this person. In fact, let's check her website for a second. Yep. Yeah, so nothing on the website. Okay, so let's take a look and read what happened in Little Neck. I'll zoom in. Victim robbed while walking in Little Neck. Police reported a victim was robbed while walking in Little Neck. It happened on February 17th around 7 p.m. The incident location reported is on 242nd Street near 69th Avenue. The suspect took off with the victim's belongings on foot and refused medical attention. Ongoing investigations. So, in Little Neck, in broad daylight. Are you kidding me? This is almost broad daylight. 7 p.m., you know, keep in mind, Once daylight savings time comes, it's going to be right by dusk. Man. Sorry for saying broad daylight. I'm just so flabbergasted with what's been going on lately. No? Yeah, and then they had this incident in Long Island City. We talked about that yesterday. Oh, look at this. Crime in my own backyard. Are you kidding me? It's happening in Fresh Meadows. Alright, here we go. Okay, let me open it in a new tab. Try that instead. Yeah, so I'll zoom in. We'll take a look at this. Alright, so, look at this. So this happened from 2019 to 2020. Wow. Queens Home Health Aide charged with stealing $100,000 from legally blind 89-year-old woman. Wow. Queens District Attorney Melinda Counts announced that Satia Saunders, age 61, has been charged with grand larceny, identity theft, and other crimes for allegedly shipping nearly $100,000 from her legally blind 89-year-old patient's bank account from March 2019 through 2020. Wow. And look at this. The home health aide lives in Fresh Meadows, 186 Lane, here in Fresh Meadows. Alright, and she was arraigned in Queens Criminal Court in Kew Gardens on a complaint charging her with grand larceny in the second degree, criminal possession of stolen property in the second degree, and identity theft in the first degree. Judge Mary Bojarno ordered the defendant to return to court on April 27, 2021. If convicted, Saunders faces up to 15 years in prison. According to the charges, in December of 2019, the son of the victim noticed the balances in her mother's bank accounts had dropped significantly. He reviewed the history of the accounts and noticed several checks payable to Saunders, who cared for the octogenarian victim for 10 years that far exceeded her weekly pay of $1,350. Ooh, and then look at this. This is where it gets disturbing. Okay? DA Katz said the investigation showed the defendant in March 2019 began cashing checks in the victim's account for $1,000 and $2,000 more than her home health attendant's salary. And then here's something else that's more disturbing. On March 14th, 2019, a check for $3,350 was cashed. And a month later, on April 4th, another check made out to Saunders totaling $3,350 was cashed. In all, 9 checks were combined for a combined $9,000. So almost $10,000 this woman stole. Alright? 10 grand. Continuing according to the charges, part of Saunders' duties, including helping the legally blind woman pay her bills. The defendant would present the victims with checks to sign. The defendant also frequently took the elderly woman to the bank, and while the victim sat in the waiting area in Saunders' window. This is odd. This picture, it might be a typo, but, disturbing. Again, in my own neighborhood, this woman was from Fresh Meadows. All right, anything else in New York City that's notable? Oh, look at this, fire in Cambria Heights. So a lot of stuff in Queens that's not getting reported. FDNY reported a fire at 115-124 Springfield Boulevard. Happened at 12:15 a.m. It happened on Tuesday, it looks like. One person has been taken to the hospital in critical condition. Reports the male resident from inside the home. EMS also reported 2 more injuries. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Okay, let me see. Yeah, so she did bring up the incident in Queens Village. Oh, and look at this. Fire in a Nitro building in Flushing. FDNY reported an apartment fire at 34-41 Linden Place. This is inside 3J of a high-rise multi-dwelling. So no injuries were reported yet, but there could be. let me see what else. Anything else I can find? Oh, look at this! Vehicle overturned on the Clearview Expressway service road in Bayside. The service road of the Clearview Expressway... Oh, wait a minute. Which service road? The northbound or southbound? Service road of the Clearview at 26th Avenue was closed due to a vehicle flipped upside down with entrapment. Emergency Services unit is working on the scene. EMS is standing by. Yikes. Okay, let me just see. Yeah, look at this. They actually have a picture of the suspect in Fresh Meadows. Look at that. Literally. Happening in my own backyard. And look at this. Another fire in Whitestone. Fire at 154-25 10th Avenue. The fire was in a basement of the 3-story home. So again, a lot of these incidents don't even get reported. And information on the Capitol riots. I mean, who really cares about that? Oh, and then look at this. Another fire in Bayside. Man, how many incidents are not getting reported by local media? All of them are happening in Queens. FDNY report at 162-30 Powell's Cove in Bayside. Ugh, 4 people taken to the hospital. Yeah, but where was that story about, Yeah, and then look at this. Another multi-vehicle accident by the RFK. Yikes. Alright, I'm just trying to see if I can find the, Yeah, this is the one I was looking for. Around the Queens-Nassau border. Yeah, look at that. First reported on Monday. Police report a dead body found on Union Turnpike in New Hyde Park. So this is on the Nassau County side. The medical examiner transported the body pending autopsy to determine the cause of death. This is a body of a female which was lying in the middle of the road. So, Pine Power LI made this a big deal. And, you know, this is a big deal. I mean, New York One could have covered this. You know, this was literally on the Queens-Nassau border. You know, think about it. This is technically a matter to New York City. Because remember, you have people from Glen Oaks who go shopping in New Hyde Park. Remember, they go to Stop and Shop on Hillside. They go to Shop Right on New Hyde Park Road by Marcus. So, disturbing. Right by the Lake Success Shopping Center. It's disturbing. And New York One didn't even cover that either. And News 12 Long Island didn't even cover it. So, you know, folks, this is what I keep talking about. New York One and News 12, you know, they're all bought out by these media conglomerates. Look at News 12, owned by Altice. Look at New York One, owned by Spectrum. It's like Spectrum doesn't want us to know what's going on, it seems. And it stinks that Spectrum... I have a theory that Spectrum's purposely lowering my internet speed. You know, they know I'm probably bashing them. So, New York One, you want to... Not New York One. Spectrum, you want to keep lowering my internet speed? Do so. Do so. Because if you keep lowering my internet speed, we're going to consider switching to Fios. Because I have friends who have Fios. A friend of mine in Merrick, she did an internet speed test for me. She's getting more megabytes per second than I am. Right? I know I'm making this a rant, but when we type in fast.com, watch this. Watch this. This is my internet speed right now. My friend's internet speed was 30 megabits. 30 megabits. Now, I should at least be getting 10 megabits. This is not acceptable, Spectrum. This is not acceptable. We should be getting faster internet. So, believe me, I'm going to keep talking about this. Right? Because I'm sick and tired of New York One not covering the news. Literally, we had a homicide in Queens Village today. I really am disgusted by them. And, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to keep doing these videos. Because the truth must be talked about. And just like how Pine Power LI is getting intimidated, please, Pine Power, keep doing the news in Long Island. Because if there's more stuff in Long Island you need to talk about, please keep talking about it in Long Island. Because I understand your viewers want to know what's going on. Just like how my viewers want to know what's going on in New York City. Alright? There's a lot of news that's not getting reported on. And I got to keep talking about it. So, that's going to wrap up this video. On a good note, I want to give some good news about the dog that was stabbed in Brooklyn. The Brooklyn paper confirmed the dog is going to be okay. So, that's the good news. And I'll mention, Channel 7 brought it up today, come to think of it. I was able to catch the last half hour of the 5 o'clock broadcast today. Channel 7 briefly brought it up for a minute, so again, at least that dog's going to be okay. The one that was stabbed in Brooklyn that I talked about last night. So, thank you all for watching, and until the next one, please take care.